I am Michelle Pearson. I'm the artistic director of Black Box Dance Theater. And so the title of today, we're supposed to make this real informal, by the way. Everybody turn to your neighbor and say, hey. This was like our plan. And the title of this show, which we had to give back in August when we had nothing, we were like, oh, it's Patriot's Path. I just want to tell you, that piece that you just saw was the beginning of Patriot's Path. In 2013, as Black Box was just beginning, a group of artists met each other and asked questions like, what's your name? Where are you from? And we did writing and storytelling, and we got to know each other. And we actually have some people who were at the very beginning of that project who were part of it. And Alfredo started as a musician, and then he wanted to dance with us because he was like, that was too much fun. He told us his story. And many of us who had kind of grown up dancing, it was not a story that we knew really even know how to hear, much less what to do with it. So we turned to our art, and we made that piece that you just saw. And we performed that all over North Carolina. You can hear a pin drop in a 5th grade classroom. It's powerful when we all realize that there are some stories that happen to us that you don't get over and you don't put them down. And they're also too heavy for one person to carry. So that was the beginning of the Patriot Project, us deciding that we could maybe help other people carry these stories, and particularly our military. We've been partnering with the USO. We've done active duty workshops at all these different bases across North Carolina. We were asked to address 2 things, leadership and suicide prevention. And we did it through dance and art and storytelling and peer support. It has been amazing. These workshops that lasted, 2 or 3 hours. Can you imagine 50 Marines? Yeah, they're like, what the heck? And people crying and laughing. And we thought, what if we didn't have 3 hours, we had 3 months or 3 years? And what if we said it wasn't just active duty, but all of our veterans and people who were carrying this burden of serving us? And we turned to our art as part of that. So that was the beginning of Patriot Project. It was a multi-year, we can go on and on about that. There's a movie coming out in May. Yay! About Patriot Project. That many of you were involved in. You know who you are, and I have something to give you after the show. But with that thought in mind, we thought it was a project. It still had that word. And then something happened. The last time we performed in Asheville, we met more people. And people became a part of this work, and it was so much bigger than any of us. And we realized it's not a project. This is essential, ongoing, like art. And that we met some artists here, Deidre Smith-Gilmer and Kendall T. Yay! And Steve Henderson and Roy Moore were part of it. They picked up the ball, and they just carried it so much farther than we could ever go. That's why we decided to do today, to just see, this was supposed to be like a little just check-in for us, and we invited y'all to kind of just be here. But I want to start with the end of Patriot, the big piece that was done in the Diana Wortham Theater a year and a half ago. At the end of it, Ron, wherever he is, hey Ron, and I told the story of Theseus. And if you know Theseus, there's this legend where Theseus was sent into the maze to kill the vicious Minotaur, right? And that was supposed to be the hard work. Well, he does slay the beast, but that's not the hard work. The hard work was that no one could get out of the maze. You could win the battle, but not get out of the maze. Well, Theseus was sent in with a little threat, so if he defeated the Minotaur, he could find his way out of war. Back, safely. And that was this beautiful thing that we did at Patriot. And that was the end of that piece. Well, people like Steve Henderson and Kevin Rumley and all you guys and Bruce, you're like, no, it's not about getting out of the maze. It's about going back in over and over again to bring others out of the maze. And that's where we are right now. That's why we're calling this Patriot Path, Theseus Legacy. And they've been writing, they've been telling stories, we've been listening, we've been moving, we've been sharing and exchanging ideas. No one in the world has seen what you're about to see. We don't even know if we've seen it quite yet. And, but before we do that, I want you to meet the incredible artists and veterans and military folk who have been creating this work, holding down the fort every Wednesday, dancing and coming together. So I'm going to say roll call. Y'all gonna come on out. And you're going to introduce yourselves.
Sergeant Roy Moore, United States Air Force, Desert Storm combat veteran.
Linda, Vietnam War widow and up-and-coming singer-songwriter.
Celeste Zipper, wife of Carl, co-pilot for 41 years together. Midge Lawrence, widow of Tom Lawrence, U.S. Army, 25th Infantry, Vietnam.
Chief Warrant Officer Carl Zipper, U.S. Army Aviation, UH-1H Huey helicopter pilot, 176 Assault Helicopter Company, Barracuda Division, Chula, Vietnam.
Steve Henderson, Indy Company 3-4, 3rd Marine Division, Vietnam, Grunt, I Corps.
Sergeant Ron Keebler, U.S. Army Infantry Intelligence, near Chulai, Vietnam.
Ted Minnick, U.S. Army, 39 years, 7 months, and 20 days, Vietnam, Cannon Copper.
Joy Minnick, military wife, 57 years, Ted's Commander-in-Chief.
Sergeant Sarah Scully, Army, 2003 to 2008.
Donovan Scully, United States Navy, 1993 to 1997, United States Army, 2002 to 2016, 5th Special Forces Group, Green Beret, 9 combat deployments.
Roy Huntley, 1972, got drafted by the Army, so I joined the Navy.
Matthew Frey, Marine Corps, 2007 to 2012.
Alfredo Hurtado, U.S. Army Paratrooper, 118th Infantry Company Airborne, 2000 to 2005, Fort Bragg.
My brother, where do you intend to go tonight? I heard that you missed your connecting flight to the Blue Ridge Mountain over near Tennessee. You're ever welcome with me anytime you like. Let's drive to the countryside, leave behind some green-eyed lookalikes, so no one gets worried, no. So no one gets worried, no. But Sean, don't get careless, I'm sure it'll be fine. I love you, oh brother of mine. Even if you don't mind, no.
Oh, yeah.
letter to my enemy. I apologize for the scare, but I don't wake up well. I hope your sleep is as bad as mine. Since 1991, my life has been hell. No sleep, self-medicating, loss of family and friends, lack of compassion, people looking at me wondering what the hell is wrong with him. And you gave me this going away gift, and I hope you got mine. But I'm on the winning side. Hey, my enemy, what does losing feel like? No sleep, self-medicating, loss of family and friends, lack of compassion, people looking at you wondering what is wrong with him. I know you didn't start this, but I helped finish it. You're welcome. Rodney King said in March of 1991, can't we all just get along? My thoughts on this, apparently not. There's good in men and bad. Back then I hated you. I don't anymore. I just dislike you now. You wanted me dead, I wanted you dead. It's okay. You keep your gifts, and I'll keep mine. I still don't sleep well. Self-medicating, it stopped after the third or fourth body in my presence. My family is back in my life. I have new friends. Compassion is coming back. People don't quite look at me the same. Been a long time. I apologize for the scare, but I don't sleep well.
By July 1st, 2009, I was in the desert, Helmand Province, Afghanistan. The cold weather gear I had carried with me was still safely packed in my sea bag. Earlier that day, we had begun our first mission outside the wire, but no plan survives first contact. Through the desert in heavily armored vehicles, a gun turned on top of each one, rotating the Marine in any direction. When we stopped, I knew something was off. I saw Gunny by his vehicle, agitated and kinetic. As I got closer, he broke the news. We lost the radio. His words hit me like shrapnel. The moment of disbelief was followed by the wrenching moment when reality comes rushing in. There was a thud in my chest, a pair of hands wringing my stomach, and probably a scream squashed somewhere inside of me. Losing the radio posed a risk to operational security, and secrecy was now compromised for all units. If I did not report it, I would be violating orders. If I did report it, I would be held accountable. Okay, I'll call it in. The powers that be would demand answers. Who lost it? How did it happen? Who was platoon commander? Sure to face severe consequences, that poor platoon commander was me. Gunny corralled the troops and spread them out along the line, facing the way we had come. The search began, and I was sure we would turn up empty-handed. With time winding down, I turned and walked back to my truck. I held the handset to my head, ready to make the call. I thought of the words I would use. As I stood listening to the voice in my head, telling me that all was lost, another voice suddenly broke through. We found it, sir.
Hello, it's so good to hear your voice. Oh babe, talk some more to ease my mind. I don't want this call to end. It's so good to hear your voice. Gotta find a safe place to connect with home. I'm not in outer space, just need a good phone. It's so good to hear your voice. Oh babe, talk some more to ease my mind. I don't want this call to end. It's so good to hear your voice. Tell me news that's not blue. Include all the fun. All your plans are good too.
your voice. Oh babe, talk some more to ease my mind. I don't want this call to end. It's so good to hear your voice.
It's almost midnight. Rows of giant army tents stretch over a gravel lot laid out in a desert landscape. In between each tent, towering lights loom overhead, grounded by air conditioning units, pumping into every tent and powered by roaring generators operating 24 hours a day. Every tent looks the same, feels the same, overpowering, existing within a bleak and regimented precision. Plopped down wherever the military needs soldiers, the tent cities house the army for the fight. Female and male tents grouped together indiscriminately and neglectfully in the center, with bathrooms and showers along the perimeter, leaving female soldiers to carefully navigate their way through the tent city to meet the most basic needs. It's past midnight. I sit here waiting, hoping for too long. The other females are asleep in bunk beds lining the tent interior. I hover anxiously by the tent opening, peering out into the darkness, debating within myself. Should I wake someone up, bringing a buddy with me, or risk it? I hear the crunch of boots on gravel nearby and freeze, like a startled rabbit in the brush. After a moment, I go over to the closest female and gently touch her shoulder as her eyes pop open. I'm sorry, so sorry, I say in a quick whisper. I've really got to go, and I need a buddy. Nobody else from my unit is here. Nobody else is awake. She's instantly alert, eyes free from previous sleepy haze. She sits up quickly and slides on her shower shoes. No problem. We've all been there. Not safe otherwise, she whispers as we walk out of the tent. She casts a hateful glance at the generators and a wary glance at the male tents. Out here, no one can hear you scream. We make it back to the female tent and fitfully drift back to sleep. I feel a tentative touch on my shoulder and startled, instantly awake. It's a young female. I'm sorry, she says in a hesitant whisper. Can you go with me to the bathroom?
sometimes in the same day. When the loss creeps up and attacks you from behind, fresh waves hit, they are gone again. You lose them when you open your eyes to a new dawn, and as you awaken, so does your memory.
You don't just lose someone once. You lose them over and over, sometimes in the same day. When the loss creeps up and attacks you from behind, fresh waves hit, they are gone again. You lose them when you open your eyes to a new dawn, and as you awaken, so does your memory. They are gone again. There is only a learned skill on how to stay afloat. Again, and again, and again, and again.
I've been here before. On September the 27th, 2024, the remnants of Hurricane Helene struck the mountains of North Carolina. The devastation caused was widespread and catastrophic. Landslides and flooding cut residents off from outside help and communication in North Carolina alone. 1.1 million people live without power. Over 100,000 without clean water. Roads and bridges were damaged or destroyed in over 6,900 locations. At least 104 people lost their lives, and 200 were unaccounted for. I've been here before. As the day went on, the carnage and smells got worse. It reminded me of Vietnam and being a grunt there. No power, no water, no hot food, no communication. I was able to show volunteers how to put makeshift lids out of aluminum foil and rubber bands on gallon jugs when there were no lids available, and everyone was in long lines to get clean water to take home. I was standing in line at the food line with a lady I work with at a school, and she shared with me 13 people had lost their lives in the flooding and mudslides on my old bus route. This hit home with me as I knew these people. It was like losing fellow Marines in Vietnam. I know how to do this, to keep breathing. Set up a routine of collecting water and food each day. I felt like the routine was well organized, and I went back to a lot of things I had learned in the military. After several weeks, power and water were restored. The organization seemed to work, and the suggestions I made helped survive Hurricane Helene. People of all ages will never forget the devastation of Helene that did so much damage to our community. One of the many mottos of the Marine Corps is to adapt, to overcome, and to make do. Under the mud and in the aftermath, we searched through the debris to see what was left. We found neighbors with strength and generosity. We found perfect strangers from all over the United States, volunteering time, food, belongings. We found a community of compassion, fortitude, and human kindness. We found our home again.
Rolling fields of bluegrass on the hillside. Cattle grazing up on the ridge. That old mountain preacher telling us about heaven. In that little country church house round the bend. he's never seen.